In the last few years, the car world and YouTube world have started to mix in a very powerful way. What used to be private, closed, and controlled by big manufacturers is now often shown in public through videos. One of the most talked about names in this space is Bugatti, a brand known for making some of the fastest and most expensive cars on Earth. At the same time, creators like Mat Armstrong have built huge audiences by buying crashed supercars and rebuilding them step by step. This combination has created a new kind of tension. Traditional car makers want full control over their products, while creators show that cars can often be repaired outside official systems. This story becomes even more interesting when a rare hypercar like the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport is involved. In simple terms, this is not a normal car. It is a limited production machine worth millions of dollars, built with extremely advanced materials and engineering. According to the widely shared story in automotive communities and online videos, one of these cars was heavily damaged in an accident during a stunt in the United States. The damage was so serious that even experienced engineers considered it unsafe or too expensive to repair in a normal way. Parts like carbon fiber panels, suspension elements, and the transmission system were badly affected. For most owners, this would normally mean the end of the car's life. It would be declared a total loss, and the insurance company would pay out the value. This is where the situation started to get unusual. Instead of letting the car disappear into scrap auctions, the owner reportedly chose to buy it back after the insurance payout. This is something that sometimes happens with exotic cars because owners feel emotionally attached to them. The car then entered the salvage market through platforms like Copart, where damaged vehicles are sold to buyers who are willing to take risks. At this stage, the car still had value, but it was also a huge challenge. It required major rebuilding work, special tools, and deep technical knowledge. This is exactly the kind of challenge that attracts creators like Mat Armstrong, who are known for turning heavily damaged cars back into working condition through patience and creativity. The controversy begins when we talk about control and restrictions. In many reports and discussions around this case, it is claimed that Bugatti placed limits on official parts being supplied for the specific vehicle. In simple terms, this means that even though the car was owned privately, the manufacturer system made it very difficult to order original replacement parts through official channels. This is often done for safety, legal, or brand protection reasons. However, critics argue that once a car is sold, the owner should have full freedom to repair it however they want. This raises a big question in the modern automotive world. Does a company still control the car after it's sold, or does ownership fully transfer to the buyer? This debate became central to the story and spread quickly online because it touches something many people can relate to, like repairing phones, laptops, or other expensive products. As the rebuild process began, the project became more than just a repair job. It turned into a technical experiment and a public challenge. Mat Armstrong and his team reportedly had to solve problems without relying on factory support. That meant finding alternative parts, designing custom solutions, and using engineering creativity to replace damaged systems. For example, instead of waiting for original components, they used custom fabrication methods, welding techniques, and adapted parts from other vehicles in some cases. In discussions about the project, even small details became important, like how airbags or sensors might be sourced or how structural parts could be restored safely. A well-known example mentioned in the story is the use of parts inspired by models like the Audi A3 for certain internal systems, showing how creative the repair process had to be when official options were limited as the project gained attention online. Also attracted responses from inside the automotive industry. One of the most discussed figures in this situation is Mat Armstrong, who leads modern developments connected to Bugatti's future. He is known for his engineering background and hands-on approach to car building, which makes his perspective important in this debate. In public comments and videos, he addressed concerns about repair costs, parts availability, and misinformation circulating online. He also suggested alternative ways the car could be repaired, including official factory repair options at a lower cost than originally estimated. This created a public conversation between traditional manufacturer systems and independent rebuild creators, with both sides trying to defend their approach. The discussion became very popular because it showed two very different ways of thinking about cars. One focused on strict control and safety, and the other focused on freedom and creativity. Eventually, the situation moved toward a more balanced outcome. Reports suggested that some restrictions were reduced and that cooperation became more possible as pressure from public attention increased. The rebuilt car project continued to progress, and the vehicle eventually returned to working condition after extensive effort. At the same time, the broader story influenced how people talk about ownership and repair rights in the automotive world. The idea that a manufacturer might limit repair options after sales sparked debate not just about hypercars, but also about everyday technology. Even if some details in viral videos are exaggerated or simplified for storytelling, the core issue remains important. Who really controls a product after you buy it? In the end, this case shows how modern platforms like YouTube can influence even the most exclusive industries, and how individuals with tools, knowledge, and determination can challenge systems that once seemed untouchable. The growing attention around the Bugatti rebuild story also shows how much the internet has changed the way car culture works. In the past, stories about damaged hypercars or factory-level repairs would stay inside workshops, engineering offices, or private collector circles. Only a few journalists or automotive magazines would ever hear about them, and even then, the information would be limited. But now, platforms like YouTube and social media allow creators to document every step of a repair process in real time. This is why the work of Mat Armstrong became so influential in this case. By filming everything from inspection to repair attempts, he turned a private technical challenge into a public story that millions of people could follow and discuss. This level of transparency is powerful, but also creates tension, because companies like Bugatti are built on strict control of information, quality, and brand image. When those two worlds collide, misunderstandings, debates, and strong opinions spread very quickly online, often faster than the facts can be confirmed. Another important part of the story is the technical difficulty of rebuilding a hypercar like the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. This is not just a fast car. It is a highly complex machine made with advanced engineering that includes carbon fiber structures, high-pressure systems, and extremely precise electronics. When a car like this is badly damaged, even small repairs can become extremely complicated. Every part is designed to work as part of a carefully balanced system, so replacing or modifying one component can affect the entire vehicle. That is why manufacturers often prefer full factory repairs instead of independent fixes. In this case, the damage reportedly included major structural issues, transmission problems, and safety system failures. Normally, such a vehicle will be considered beyond practical repair, especially outside the original factory environment. However, independent rebuilders often approach these challenges differently. Instead of following factory rules, they use engineering creativity, custom fabrication, and experience from other car projects to find alternative solutions. This approach is risky, but it can sometimes bring written-off cars back to life in ways that surprise even professionals at the same time. The financial side of the story adds another layer of complexity. Hypercars are not only expensive to buy, but also extremely expensive to repair. In many cases, repair estimates can reach millions of dollars, especially when original parts and factory labor are required. In this situation, the insurance process reportedly declared the vehicle a total loss due to high cost of repairs compared to the car's market value. This is a standard practice in the insurance industry, where companies like Copart often handle the resale of damaged vehicles. However, when the owner decided to buy the car back from salvage, it created a new problem. The car still had value, but it also came with massive repair uncertainty. For independent rebuilders like Mat Armstrong, this kind of project represents both a financial risk and a creative opportunity. If successful, the car can be restored and even increase in value again. But if it fails, the cost and effort can be enormous with no guaranteed return, as the story developed online. Public reaction played a major role in shaping how it was perceived. Millions of viewers followed updates, commented on progress, and debated whether manufacturers should control repair access after a car is sold. Some people supported the manufacturer's position, arguing that safety and engineering standards must be protected, especially for high-performance vehicles that can reach extreme speeds. Others supported independent repair freedom, saying that once a product is purchased, the owner should have full rights to fix it however they choose. This debate is not new, but the Bugatti situation made it much more visible. It also highlighted how influential creators like Mat Armstrong have become. Instead of just entertaining audiences, they now influence discussions about ownership, engineering ethics, and even business practices in the automotive industry. This shows a shift in power, where public opinion formed through online content can sometimes pressure even the most exclusive brands to respond in the middle of this public debate. Figures like Mate Rimac played an important role in explaining the manufacturer's perspective. As someone with a deep engineering background, he represents a bridge between traditional automotive manufacturing and modern electric performance innovation. In public responses, he addressed concerns about repair costs, misinformation, and the complexity of servicing such advanced vehicles. He also suggested alternative repair solutions that were more affordable than initial estimates, showing that compromise was possible. This helped reduce some tension in the discussion, although it did not fully end the debate. What makes his involvement important is that it shows how modern automotive leadership is no longer just about building cars. It is also about managing online narratives, customer expectations, and global discussions happening in real time across social media platforms. Over time, the situation gradually moved toward resolution, at least in practical terms. Some reported restrictions were eased, and the rebuild process continued with more support than before. The car itself eventually returned to a working condition after significant effort, custom engineering, and problem solving. However, the deeper impact of the story goes beyond one vehicle. It influenced how people think about car ownership, repair rights, and manufacturer control in the modern world. Even everyday technology users can relate to the same idea, whether it's smartphones, laptops, or other expensive devices that are difficult to repair without official parts. The Bugatti case became a symbol of a larger question. How much control should a company have after selling a product? In the end, this story shows that the internet is not just a place for entertainment. It has become a space where industries are observed, challenged, and sometimes even forced to adapt under public attention. One reason the story became so popular is because it feels bigger than just a damaged hypercar. At its core, it is about power, control, and independence. People watching the rebuild were not only interested in whether the car could be fixed, they were also interested in seeing whether a normal workshop, led by a YouTube creator, could succeed where one of the most powerful luxury car brands in the world believed the process should stay under factory control. That idea naturally creates emotional interest because audiences often enjoy stories where individuals challenge large systems. In this case, Mat Armstrong became the symbol of independent creativity, while Bugatti represented traditional authority and engineering perfection. Whether that comparison is fully fair or not, it helped the story spread quickly online. The internet often simplifies complicated situations into small creator versus giant company, and that emotional framing can make viewers become deeply invested in the outcome. Another reason audiences connected with the project is because rebuilding damaged vehicles has become one of the most successful forms of automotive content on YouTube. Instead of simply reviewing cars or driving them around a racetrack, creators now invite viewers into the repair process itself. Audiences watch problems appear, solutions fail, and progress slowly happen over time. This creates suspense similar to a television series. Every damaged bolt, missing part, or engine problem becomes part of the story. In the Bugatti rebuild, the stakes felt even higher because the car was worth millions of dollars and considered nearly impossible to repair outside factory conditions. Each update video created new questions. Would the transmission work again? Would the electronics respond correctly? Could replacement components be sourced or recreated? This style of content works very well online because viewers feel emotionally involved in the journey. They are not just watching a car. They are watching people solve problems step by step under intense pressure. The role of modern engineering tools also played a huge part in making the rebuild possible. Years ago, independent workshops would struggle to reproduce parts for a hypercar because the required technology was expensive and difficult to access. Today, however, advanced tools like 3D scanning, CAD software, CNC machining, and digital modeling are becoming more available to smaller teams. This means independent creators can sometimes manufacture custom components with surprising accuracy. During the rebuild story, there were discussions about custom fabricated parts, repaired transmission mounts, and specially built systems replacing unavailable factory components. These methods show how quickly engineering technology is changing. A small workshop today can sometimes achieve tasks that once required a major factory. Of course, this does not mean independent repairs are always equal to factory work, especially for safety-critical systems. But it does show that technical knowledge and digital tools are giving skilled individuals far more capability than before at the same time. The story also raised important concerns about safety and responsibility. Hypercars like the Bugatti CEO Sport are capable of extreme performance levels, and manufacturers design them under strict safety standards. When official repair procedures are ignored or modified, companies worry about legal risks, accidents, and damage to their reputation. If a rebuilt vehicle later fails at high speed, the public may still blame the manufacturer, even if the repair was done independently. This is one reason companies often limit access to certain parts or systems after severe accidents. Critics argue that this creates unfair control over products after purchase, but manufacturers argue they are protecting customers and maintaining engineering standards. Both sides have understandable concerns, which is why the debate became so intense online. Supporters of independent repair focus on ownership freedom, while supporters of the manufacturer emphasize safety and responsibility. The truth likely exists somewhere in the middle, where both engineering standards and owner rights need to be balanced carefully. The involvement of Mat Armstrong added another layer of public interest because he is seen as a modern and approachable figure in the automotive world. Unlike some traditional executives who stayed distant from